Hey there everyone, welcome back to another day on the channel where we've got some exciting news for you today. Now, you may have already seen the trailer that Pokemon dropped today, but I haven't talked about it yet, and I haven't talked about news and update related stuff in a while, so I've decided I'm going to talk about this, because this is some pretty cool stuff. Now, there was a few showings of different kinds of features like new Pokemon, like the starter evolutions. The first stage evolutions for the starters was shown, and some other stuff. I don't really care that much about that. What I really want to talk about are the changes to the actual competitive parts of the game, like the online battling, or the actual, we found out the VGC 17, basically not really the rule set, but the restrictions, which is basically what you need to know. So now, I said basically way too many times there. Now, so we got a new version of the Pokemon Global Link. So this page here, link will be in the description. It's basically everything that I'm going to talk about. So the new Pokemon Global Link, first off, looks amazing. They said that they're gonna, with the release of Sun and Moon, are no longer going to support Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon X, or Pokemon Y. But they start off the page saying, all right, we're shutting that down. So, sorry, November 18th, the day that the game opens, guess what? Pokemon Global Link is going to be ready to go. So, if you were so inclined, you could be on Battle Spot the very first day the game comes out, which is insane. I don't think they've ever done that before. Rating battles have changed too. Normally you've got, every year there's usually a period, and this happened this year, where the VGC rule set is always some kind of special ladder that's usually temporary. This year we had a VGC special ladder from I think it was January or February until June we had it, or maybe July. But basically, going into Worlds, there was no way to practice in-game with your Worlds team, with your VGC 2016 team. So people had to resort to Pokemon Showdown. Now they're saying straight up, there's going to be an official rating battle system for the entire thing. Here, down here. Okay, so I guess I'll cover these real quick. So you've got your battle rules, 3 existing battle sets, and there's a special, single, double, special. So, single's always been there, double's always been there, special's been there. Nothing new there. But then down here, they say for new rules for championship battles. Basically, that there's going to be a 4th set of rules on the Battle Spot ladder that's specifically for the World Championship Series 2017 rules. So the ones that you're going to be using if you go to the World Championship, if you go to a regional tournament, a Premier Challenge, whatever. This is what they're going to be using. And it starts November 18th, the day the game launches. So here's the most important thing about this, and I think it's super cool, because we're talking about double battle format's nothing new. It says double battle format is limited to Pokemon that appear in the Alola region Pokedex, excluding some legendary mythical Pokemon. That's nothing new, excluding certain legendary Pokemon. But the cool part is it's only Pokemon that appear in the Alola region Pokedex, and that what that means is basically not only anything that is, because of the way the game works, not only something that's in the Pokedex, but it has to be either caught or bred in Alola. So if you have a Pokemon that's in the Alola Pokedex, let's say, I don't know, like an old Raticate or something, from X and Y, and you want to bring it into your Sun and Moon game, Sun or Moon game, I suppose. You can't use that one, but you could take that Raticate and breed it to make a new Raticate that you can then use. So that's important to note. Probably my most favorite part, which is redundant, use of Megastones is not allowed. So, hooray! No more Megastones, thank goodness. Oh my god. I thought Megastones were nice. They were fun to mess around with for a while, but I think they just make the game so hyper offensive, and they really just kind of restrict team building a little bit. And that point was only further illustrated when they added in 2016 the restricteds. When you give something that's super bulky or hyper offensive or has some kind of broken ability or moveset, then everything revolves around that Pokemon or a few Pokemon. So Megastones kind of had that same effect. I'm glad that they're gone. You can still use them in the game. They did announce that Megastones are in the game, and they will work. And I think they even announced that, or at least they hinted at, some Z moves will cause Mega Evolution, that's a really cool point to talk about in a different video. but use of Megastones not allowed. So it's going to be a Alolan Pokedex, which I think is cool, and no Megastones. So they're obviously going to allow Z moves, because that's like one of the new big gimmicks of the game. And only Pokemon that can be obtained in Sun and Moon may be entered. So I explained how, you can only obtain it in Sun and Moon and have it be used. So you can bring something in if you can and breed it, that's fine, but it's got to originate from Sun and Moon. That's the most important part. Another cool part of this, and I think this is either just they wanted to do this, or this is an effort to appease some people's complaining, but the quote-unquote your time system for rating battles. Basically now, a lot of people have been describing it as like a chess clock, I guess the way that they use clocks in chess. But so each player, and I've read through this several times to try and understand it, because it kind of confused me the first time I read it, but basically what it says is each player has, in addition to the actual like game clock, so like let's say it's a 15-minute battle, so in addition to the 15 minutes overall, which includes like you picking your moves and the battle animations, each player individually has a 10-minute your time clock. So you have 60 seconds each turn to pick your move, or you'll time out and your moves will be picked for you. And then you also have 10 minutes overall of quote-unquote your time, and the your time is individual to each player. So before in VGC, you had a problem where people complained about timer stalling, where one person picked their move in like 5 seconds. They know exactly what they want to do. They pick it in 5 seconds, and the other person, they just want to draw the clock down and try and win on timer. They take their time to the full 45 seconds or 60 seconds, whatever it is for that particular battle, and depending on if it's a PC or a regional or whatever. And so you have one person sitting there waiting, and the other person picking the moves right away, and there's no difference between the two. There's no penalty for the person taking the timer all the way down. So what this does now is basically, if you pick all of your moves in 5 seconds every single turn, you have nothing to worry about, because you're only going to take 5 seconds off of your personal timer every single turn. Now, if you take the full 60 seconds every single turn to pick your moves, you only get to choose moves 10 times before you lose. So if your personal timer goes down to 0, you lose the game. No matter what, you could be winning in terms of Pokemon, you could be just about to win the game, and then in the middle of your turn, your personal timer runs out, and you lose the game. So this really discourages timer stalling, or just people that take a long time to pick their moves. So all credit goes to Wolf. He's one of my favorite players, but Wolf is notorious for taking the full timer to just think about his move, and then think about it again, take a moment, decide, or what are my options, and then pick his move. And so a lot of his games end up going long. Well, this discourages that behavior, and the your time system for rating battles is a good way to, one, combat timer stalling. Not really that it's a problem, it's a legal thing. It was a legitimate, well, I guess it technically still is a legitimate way to win the game, just a lot of people don't like it. So if you don't like it, this is good for you. If you don't care either way, then this might be an issue, because now you have 60 seconds to pick your turn, but if you look at your opponent's team and decide, oh, it looks pretty defensive, I might have to choose the turns quickly. Or it changes the way you have to think about each turn. It's no longer, okay, what moves am I going to pick? It's what moves am I going to pick, and how much time should I really be spending here? It's almost like answering SAT questions, trying to use your time appropriately. So I think that is super cool. And under that is, I can't believe they did this, but this is so cool. Okay, battle with other players' Pokemon. So in game, if you wanted to test a team, you pretty much had to build it. Now you could go on Pokemon Showdown and make your team, and then test it out and decide if you like it, and then if you like it, you could go and then make it in game. But what if you saw another team you like, and you ask someone, hey, I like your team, I want to use it. Or I've had people ask me for teams before on my channel. Well, now what you can do is someone can take their team and they can register it through this system, and then it'll generate a QR code for a quote-unquote rental team. And then you can give that QR code out to whoever you want, and they can use that QR code to then try your team in game, like the exact same natures, moves, EV spreads, IVs, items, whatever. Everything's the same. And so that's a really cool way to not only share teams just for funsies, but also to test teams out. So I know a lot of people will go to tournaments and they'll build a team with a friend, and they'll all make it. And so they want to test it out. We all want to bring the same team to regionals. We want to test it out. One person can make the team in game, and then not everybody has to breed the same team to test it out. So that's another cool thing you can do. And also they've got a little note down here about you may even be able to try battling using the Pokemon of expert players like the victors of the World Championships. I really like their little joke here. Try to chalk up victories with powerful teams that include legendary Pokemon. Because in case you are new to VGC or you don't know like what kind of the metagame of 15, that team there was notorious, and it was called Chalk, and it was a pain in the butt, and everyone kind of used it at the end of 15. So that's like kind of like the team that won the World Championships right there. So the Pokemon making a little joke. They know what they're doing here. They know exactly what they're doing. Global missions are starting. I don't really care that much about this. This doesn't really have anything to do with VGC, but it's kind of cool that global missions. So Pokemon will say, all right, we're gonna have a mission now. You can earn points and items and stuff for it. The first one, they say the first one's going to be catch a lot of Pokemon. That's interesting. It's expected to go live in late November. It's another thing that they're not sure when they're releasing. Kind of like Pokemon Bank. They said it's going to be like sometime in January, whatever. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun like in-game thing. It'll be a cool thing to stream. I bet a lot of people will stream something like this. So that's interesting. But moving on. Host your own friendly competitions. This one's really cool. So, and we already knew about this before, but you'll be able to compete in official online competitions in the past, but now there's more. So what you can do is you can construct your own rule set for a tournament, decide how many Pokemon you want, what items you want to restrict, what Pokemon you want to restrict. You can invite other people to it, and then it's locked in the game. So it's kind of like being locked at a regional with an official rule set, except now you can do it like you can make your own up, and you can play tournaments with your friends, and that's cool. They tell us that online competitions are coming back. They're going to be exactly the same. And live competitions, the very last one here, which I think is great for tournament organizers, say that live competitions will allow you to host a competition where you gather with friends, blah, 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 and then regulations will be created as a QR code, kind of the same way as the rental teams. So that's really cool. Now, you can go to a PC pretty much anywhere, and there'll be like a registration period where you have to show up. You create a team sheet for your team, write down all the moves and items and everything, and then you got to turn it in, and then the tournament organizer has to run through all the lists, make sure everything's legal, and it takes so long. And they're doing the best they can, but that's just what they had to work with. Now that you have live competitions like this, with QR codes where you can prepare the rule set beforehand, you can come up, scan the QR code, and now it goes through and decides whether or not your team is legal. Now, certain tournament organizers still might want to collect team sheets for whatever purposes, like, we want to document what teams won or whatever. But if you don't want that, now the registration process is basically just, where's your player ID? Where's your entry fee? Does your team pass the QR code scan? Boop, you're ready, good to go. And I think it's really cool. I think basically, and I tweeted about this earlier, but basically Pokemon took every complaint that everyone had for in the competitive scene for the past I don't know how long, and they just said, you know what, we hear your cries, we feel your breath, and we're gonna just make everything better. We're gonna make everything better. You know what? Boom, QR code scanning rental teams. You don't like megas? Boom, not allowed in the competition. You want new diverse Pokemon? You want to start over fresh? Boom, Alola Dex. Live competitions are sometimes a pain in the butt. Boom, we're making it easier. You want to host your own tournaments? Boom, there you go. It's amazing. I love it. I'm super excited for these games. The fact that Battle Spot is open the day that the game drops, super cool to me. And one of the biggest ones for me is just, regardless of whatever the rule set ended up being, there's going to be an official rule set Battle Spot ladder all year long. You'll always be able to practice for whatever tournament you have coming up, whether it be a Premier Challenge, a Regional, or the World Championship itself, and I think that's great. So, sorry to ramble on a little bit. I'm just super excited about this. I hope you're excited too. If you are excited, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Leave a like on this video, whatever. If you want to subscribe I'll try and do more of these news updates, and if you want just VGC content in general, I've got that. You want playthroughs, I got that. Hopefully, I'll see you around some other time. We'll have some new news about Pokemon Sun and Moon.